What's going on, guys? This is Sam, and today I want to talk about the latest iPhone rumors that we've been hearing, talk about AirPods 2nd gen and 3rd gen, some over-ear headphones that Apple's been working on, and a really cool rumor that suggests the AirPods wireless charging case could charge your iPhone. Super crazy stuff. First, I want to start off with the iPhone rumors as always. It's always what piques my interest the most. We're hearing 3 new models once again. This new report comes courtesy of Mac Rumors, but technically the info itself is from TF International Securities' Ming-Chi Kuo, who has a pretty good track record for speculating what Apple is going to work on, and it talks a lot about iPhone rumors. He recently moved there from KGI Securities, and in his latest report, he reiterates once again there are going to be 3 new models coming: the LCD model, the 2nd generation iPhone 10 with an OLED screen, and the iPhone 10 Plus, which will have that pretty big 6.5-inch OLED display. A lot of people are excited for the phones this year. I'm really excited for them. Pricing for the LCD model is said to be between $600 and $700, and we've heard the pricing for the iPhone 10 Plus will be $999, and for the 2nd generation iPhone 10, which will also have an OLED display like the iPhone 10 Plus, will be $899. So I could very easily see Apple doing $699 for the LCD, $899 for the 2nd gen iPhone 10, and $999 for the iPhone 10 Plus. But of course, this pricing is all based on speculation right now, based on rumors. Apple likes to usually go higher, so when I hear $600 to $700, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, LCD iPhone probably $599. They like to make things expensive, the Apple tax, as some would call it. So I would guess $699, $700 for the LCD model, which really isn't cheap. A lot of people calling it budget. I've done that. I'm calling it low cost or cheap, inexpensive. But when you think about it, $600 to $700, really not that inexpensive at all. It's just going to be the pricing of basically the iPhone 8, which is $700 or $699 to be exact. If you're planning to get a new iPhone this year, the good news is that all 3 are said to be launching in September. There's not going to be that gap where some models launch in September. The iPhone 10 in 2017 launched in November. All 3 models said to be announced and then subsequently released based on this report in September of 2018. So that's really exciting. You'll be able to hopefully get whatever model you want on launch, and I look forward to seeing these 3 iPhones then. The same report, though, also talks about 3 other products that Apple is also said to be releasing in the second half of this year. The Face ID-enabled iPad Pros initially said to launch in June of 2018. That didn't end up happening. A refreshed or new version of the MacBook Air, which I think will have a Retina display and some other really nice improvements. And then finally, the Apple Watch Series 4. With all these new products said to be coming in the second half of this year and no major products launching in the first half of this year, I think Apple's going to have to split up their fall into 2 separate events. One in September to focus on the iPhones, probably the Apple Watch, and maybe the new AirPods that we'll talk about in just a sec. And then a second event with Macs, iPads, and any other products or smaller upgrades that they've been working on. From my point of view, 2 events would just make the most sense and also just be the smartest strategy for Apple. They'll be able to get isolated time to hype up the new iPhones, sell millions and millions of those, take a little bit of a break, people start getting their iPhones, they're happy, and then just when you thought you were done spending thousands of dollars, Apple's like, new iPad, new AirPods, new Macs, and anything else we didn't announce in September, so then your wallet is just functionally non-existent. You don't have any money left. The last bit of information that I want to share from this report is that Ming-Chi Kuo claims that next year's iPhones, not the ones this year, but in 2019, will have, quote, marked innovations, end quote. We have no idea what that means, and Kuo himself says that as we get to the September or October timeframe of 2018, just later this year, a few months away, he'll have more information on the direction that Apple's going in the future. I always think it's hilarious. Like, I get the new iPhone every year in my hand, and I'm usually reading an article about the iPhone that's coming out a year from now when I'm using the new phone in my hand. It's super weird and super ironic, but that's just the way the rumor cycle goes here on YouTube and on the internet and anywhere else with Apple. So that's what we know about the new iPhones right now. Of course, I'll keep you up to date when any new iPhone information is released. To wrap up the latest iPhone rumors, we also just recently got this image from Ghost Tech that shows the purported LCD iPhone inside of a case, and it really doesn't reveal that much. The number one thing that I continue to forget to point out when talking about the LCD iPhone iPhone is that one of the caveats for it being about $200 to $300 cheaper than the second gen iPhone 10 and the iPhone 10 Plus is the fact that the bezels around the edges are going to be a little bit thicker. And when you're looking at images, it doesn't really look that much thicker, and I doubt when you're using the phone itself, you're gonna notice, wow, the bezels are so thick, they're so annoying. But they are gonna be slightly wider in diameter than on the current iPhone 10 and on the second gen iPhone 10 and iPhone 10 Plus coming later this year. If we flip the phone around on the back, you can see, once again, that single lens setup, only one lens on the LCD iPhone, just because it is going to be lower cost than the highest end models coming. And then you can also see you got the microphone and the flash below it rather than placed to the side. But that is the latest image of the LCD iPhone that we have. These are all mock-ups based on factory CAD, so these aren't like actual leaked images. They just give us a really good idea as to how the new iPhones are going to look when they come out later this year. All right, I gotta share this next story with you. I read it, I was super excited. It's really interesting. According to the Nike Asian Review, the next AirPods case will be able to charge your iPhone wirelessly. We're talking iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, or the iPhone 10, or any iPhones released in 2018 that have wireless charging capabilities. Now, I thought that was a really great idea until I read an article talking about this exactly from MacRumors, where they mention that the AirPods case, the current gen, only has a 300 to 400 milliamp hour battery, and that the battery capacity on the iPhone 10, which I think is Apple's largest battery size ever or close to it, is 2,716 milliamp hours for its max storage capacity, which means that if the AirPods case was at its very highest capacity, it was 100% charged, it could only charge your iPhone 400-ish milliamp hours out of 2,716, which is like roughly 5 to 15% depending on the charge of the AirPods case. So I thought it would be a good idea, but now hearing that the capacity on the AirPods case is so small, it wouldn't be that feasible. However, there is the case scenario for your iPhone's almost out of charge, but you do have your AirPods wireless charging case with you and you need to make a phone call, your iPhone had died, and you could get like 10% battery on your iPhone through your AirPods wireless charging case. I think that would be a killer feature. I think that'd be really cool. And while it wouldn't be the most practical in everyday use, it wouldn't be the main reason you go out and buy this new AirPods case, it'd still be a really cool feature. It's a little bit gimmicky. You probably wouldn't use it all the time, but there have been cases where I've had my AirPods with me at like 80% battery and my iPhone with like 5 to 10% battery. And there's some times where I just needed that little bit extra juice to get me home. The MacRumors article also interestingly suggests that maybe the Nike Asian Review got it the other way around. Maybe you'd be able to charge your AirPods case wirelessly from your iPhone, which would make a lot more sense from a battery capacity standpoint. But I still think the coolest thing would be having the ability to charge your iPhone wirelessly from your AirPods wireless charging case. That report just came out a few hours ago at the time of recording this video, but yesterday something that I didn't cover immediately was a new report from Bloomberg. They talk about the 2019 AirPods, the new AirPods coming later this year, a new HomePod, and some Pro headphones that Apple is working on that will be more expensive than probably any other headphones that they have ever released between their own and the Beats brand. The AirPods in 2019 are said to have noise cancellation, water resistance, and also work at a greater distance, but Bloomberg makes sure to highlight these are not going to be fully waterproof. They're not going to be like you can submerge them, you can just throw them around in a pool or wear them while swimming. They are resistant to like sweat and rain, so you won't have to worry if a little drop of water gets on them that they'll just completely fry and break, but you won't be able to go swimming in with them and likely fully submerge them at all. Although I've washed my first gen AirPods once or twice now and they still work perfectly fine. Noise cancellation also something that I've never been a big fan of. I don't like the Fox noise cancellation where it just sort of blocks out all the tones outside of your headphones. I know Bose did that with like the QC30 or 35s, and I hate it. I hate feeling like I'm just trapped inside this bubble, but I also know a lot of people that love noise cancellation. So I'm sure Apple will give you the ability to turn that on or off, but that will be a very interesting change coming in 2019. And Bloomberg also adds that because these will have more features and possibly even new health sensors to expand from the health sensors currently included on just the Apple Watch, These AirPods in 2019 are probably going to be more expensive than $159, which is the current price of the first generation AirPods that were initially launched back with the iPhone 7 in 2016. So that's everything we know about the 2019 AirPods right now. Bloomberg also expands on the ones coming later this year. There's not a whole lot happening. The upgrades in 2019 exponentially more exciting in my opinion than the AirPods upgrades coming later this year. It's just going to gain a new chip that allows you to say, "Hey Siri, hands-free." After sharing those pretty cool details about the 2018 and 2019 AirPods, Bloomberg also shared details about brand new over-ear headphones that are coming from Apple. I think we had initially heard about these a few months back and I never really talked about it just because pro audio definitely isn't my thing that I'm super interested in. However, this article does say that while these headphones were initially planned to launch later this year, they're actually not going to come until as early as 2019. We know nothing about the technology inside of these other than the fact that they will compete with very, very high-end headphones. The last thing mentioned in this article is a new HomePod that is currently in the works. We know nothing about the new technology. We've heard rumblings of a smaller HomePod possibly coming with Beats branding, which would definitely be a little bit weird, but there is a new HomePod in the works if you really like the first gen or you're looking forward to the second generation HomePod. We know it's not coming this year, should be coming as early as 2019. So that's all for this video. If you enjoyed watching, if you learned something new, that'd be incredible if you dropped a like down below. I'd love you forever. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you do want to see more videos from me in the future. If you want to go that extra mile to help support the channel, you can head over to shop.ifdidos.com and I would also seriously appreciate that. But for now, I've been Sam. I hope all of you are doing great and I will talk to you in my next video.